Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody's doing well. Yes, I'm running a tiny little bit late, and I apologize for that, but I hope everybody's doing well and has had a great week. It's been a busy one here. I don't think weeks generally are anything other than busy here, but still, we have survived. I think we have had 3 storms in the past 14 days, and all of them have done some kind of damage around and about Scotland, but we have survived pretty much unscathed, which has been very nice. So anyway, that's kind of news here. I've been away at my parents' for the weekend and got back probably about an hour ago. So that's why I'm running a little bit late, because I had to get my kids to bed and throw food down my gullet as fast as humanly possible without vomiting. So anyway, we are here. It is Sunday night, and that's awesome. It's my favorite time of the week because I get to talk to you guys, which is fantastic, and you guys ask some awesome questions. So I'm very happy about that. Let's see who we got here. Rich Cresswell was first in the room at extremely early. Tony Stringer's here as well. You guys were talking about I'm not sure what you were talking about because Tony retracted all of his messages, but I think he was talking about Empire and Persona's Hub, which he now has working, which is awesome. So glad to hear that. And John Hawk is here as well. Marcos in Brazil is here. Ken Moss is here. Music to Motion. My good friend Mike is here. Alps Media, the sponsor of tonight's show, is here, which is awesome. Hello, Louis. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Let's see. Kevin's Guitar Stories is here. Billy Morgan is here. Kyle Trajuziak is here, which is fantastic. Just Bob, one of my other fabulous, awesome moderators. I think all of my moderators are in the house tonight, which is cool. Let's see. Benny Fade Music is here. Hello, Benny. Good to see you. Welcome. I think you're new to my show, which is fantastic. Welcome. If you have a question about Studio One, about composing, arranging, songwriting, and using Studio One in those contexts, or even using Notion, the scoring software that Personas makes, if you have questions about such things, then get them in the chat and I'd be happy to help you out and see if we can work out what it is that you're asking. So I can certainly help you with any questions you might have, Benny. Mike at Music to Motion says, remember to hit the like button. Yes, please. Hitting the like button helps me out tremendously. It helps my channel out. It helps it get promoted up by the YouTube algorithm, and it makes this show kind of a little bit more visible to folks on YouTube, which is what we want, really. Kevin has the first question of the night. We will get to that in just a second. Harley Bob is here as well, which is fantastic, and Paul Morgan. Ronald Figura is here. Oh my word, the chat just jumped dramatically. Which means it's hard to keep up with. Don Oliver's also here, which is great. Secret Squirrel is here. He says, good evening all. Fantastic. Awesome. Glad you're here. Let's talk about plugins. Well, yeah, be a little specific, and we can talk about plugins for sure. And I think I got to the end, which is cool. All right, so let's go back up to Kevin's question. He says, can you demonstrate the tempo track? I want to change tempo mid-song from 140 BPM to 90 and then back to 40 again. Tempo track is very, very cool. It's very, very powerful. But there are a couple of things that you need to do in order to make it work. And that is you need to set your tracks to time stretch, which means that when you put in the tempo data, the audio events will shrink and contract accordingly, so they actually go with the tempo that you have set. So we can do that. In fact, we can do that with the piece of music that you were just listening to. which is called Cool Breeze, which I wrote when I was doing the video series for the Presonus Symphonic Orchestra, and that basically featured the woodwind section with a little bit of drums and some Fender Rhodes and a bit of bass as well. So that is, what's the file tempo on this? I don't know. Anyway, we can bring this into Studio One. Okay, let's go over to Studio One. Here we go. All right, so hang on just a minute. All right, there we go. Got my camera on as well. All right, so I've just brought that piece of music in. And as you can see, it doesn't fit this 100 BPM tempo, but we can find out what that is. I can select the track and I can open the, and as you can see here, it says not set. So we need this file is unknown. We don't know what it is, but what we can do is we can try and make it fit by grabbing the end here, and I think I need to hold, is it Shift or Control? I can't remember what it is. It's Alt. There it is. It's Alt. So if I hold Alt down and make it drag it exactly so that it's fitting the bar line, and I don't even know if it's going to fit this exact tempo, but we'll find out. I think it's 90, but I can't remember. Yeah, that tempo is way off. So let me see if I can remember what it is. Let's put in 90. And then if that should be set to time stretch now. And as you can see now, the file tempo is a little bit faster. So maybe it wasn't 90, maybe it was something a little bit slower. But it's been, what, 5 or 6 years since I did that piece. But it doesn't really matter so long as it now fits to the grid, which it does. All right, now you're talking about a tempo of 140. This piece of music is going to sound hideous at that tempo, but we're going to do it because it's fun. All right, so I have the tempo track open. I'm going to zoom out a wee bit. And you're saying that you want to go from 140 to 90. Now, let's maybe, after this first bit here, we'll set this section here to we'll set it to 130. It's not the same as what you want, but that's okay. And then it will go back down to 100. And then let's say this section here, we go down to 80 beats a minute, and then we go back up to 100. So let's check that out. It's actually starting to, for some reason, it's actually starting to fall off the grid. So don't quite know why that is, but you get the general idea. The general idea here is if you want to change any of the tempo data, you do that up here, and then you can drop down, you can go back up, you can do whatever you like, really. So yeah, so I hope that answers the question. You just put in your little point here. And then you wait, you hover your mouse over it until you see this trim symbol, and then you just drag it down like that. All right. And that's pretty much how that works. So, and that was to speed up and then to slow down, but what you're doing is you're going from 140 to 90. But this gives you kind of, I've done it the other way around, but this hopefully just gives you exactly the information that you need to be able to do any changes of tempo in any piece of music. So you just got to make sure that you either have embedded tempo data already. Now you saw that with this one it said not set. I can't actually remember what the original file tempo is. I don't think it's 90. I can't remember. Let's see, let's clear that. Let's try that. I don't think it was that. Let's see. Let me put in 80. No, that's not right. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So long as you know what the original file tempo is and you've got time stretch set, you should be good to go. So yeah, I hope that helps. All right, so let's see. Can you curve or slope the slowdown so it's gradual? Yes, you can. So let's go and clear all of our. Let's go and clear everything. So let's say from bar 3 here, I want to do a gradual slowdown over these two bars here. I just grab. Oh, hang on. That's my mouse. My mouse is a little bit slippery. There we go. So I've done a gradual slope there. And then you can just stick one in the middle there and you can make it a little bit more curved. And I can pull this down so you can really see it. So there I've got a nice little curve here. So I can go from here. Alright, so I hope that helps. Let's see. Mike at Peace Valley Audio is here. He says, why are changes made in the arranger view not reflected in the editor view, quantize view, auto scroll, snap to grid, and automation, for example? Well, they are. I'm not quite sure I understand your question. Why are changes made in the arranger view not reflected in the editor view? Oh, it depends upon what changes you're making in the arranger view. So, you know, if I go and open up a song, for example, like this one, let's go back and look at your question again. Why are changes made in the arranger view not reflected in the editor view? Oh, quantize value, auto scroll. Okay. So let's select this event here and we'll put it in the note view. So I have this set to 16ths and 16ths bars and quantize. But I've got the snap here set to adaptive. It's because these two can be complete. These two are designed to be independent of each other to some degree. So I could set that to the snap to quantize value, or I can have it snap to adaptive. I can have it to snap to whatever I need to. So these two can be completely independent grids, effectively. If you change the quantize on the arranger, the quantize value in the editor doesn't change. No, it's because these are meant to be independent of each other. So you can have different snaps for different things that you want to do. So, you know, it kind of just depends upon what you want to do. Like, for example, you know, you can have this set to, I don't know, set that to 8ths. And this one is still set to 16ths, as you can see here. Depends upon what you're wanting to do. So, but like I said, these two bars here are designed to be independent of each other, so that you can have a different set of values for what you want to do in here compared to a different set of values that you want to have in here. It's so that you can do different kinds of editing. That's all. So if I want to only have my note values here for MIDI quantized to 8th notes, but I have the arranger view quantized to 16th notes because maybe I've got audio events that have 16th notes in them, but this has 8th notes in them, so I want to make sure that these notes here, when I hit quantize, they shift to the nearest 8th note without affecting anything else that's going on up here. So, you know, this can be completely different. It's just a different way of, it's just flexibility. That's all it is. Holly Bob says, I have a question about pipeline. In order to print the track with my external processing, do I need to have the pipeline plugin activated, or does the track need to be playing? Well, both. If you're using pipeline, you need the pipeline plugin engaged and active, and you need to have it you need to have the plugin receiving signal both ways. So both out of Studio One through your external hardware and then back into Studio One. But when you are printing, you can only print in real time using pipeline, because basically the audio has to go out through your external hardware and back into Studio One. And the only way it can do that is in real time. It can't do that offline. So you have to do that in real time, and you don't get any choice about that. Offline bounce is basically grayed out. So that is why that is the way it is. It's so you don't change things unintentionally between the two windows. Yeah, sort of, yeah. Yeah, so that you can do different things in the different views. And you can have different setups in different views. That's all. So I hope that helps. Can you do a vinyl stop in tempo track? Sort of. I don't know how to do it. There is a way to kind of simulate something like that using what's it called? In the inspector here, if you set the time stretch, instead of setting it to drums, you can set it to tape here, tape resampler. If you set the time stretch value to this, or the time stretch type to tape resampler, then what you can do is you can do a dramatic slowdown and it will affect the pitch. So when you slow down the tempo, it affects the pitch. Okay? I can kind of show you kind of how that works. So let's see. Do I need to do that on everything? Actually, everything else is MIDI. It's just this one that's not MIDI. Let's see. Yeah, so if I set this to resampler, this drum loop here, which is what this is, so if I just solo this drum loop here, and with tape set, if I go and open the tempo track, and if I was to go at bar 4 to bar 6, drop the tempo to, say, 60 beats a minute. Now, what should happen is the pitch should change. Which it does. So what you can do is you can do a slope like I showed earlier, and you can slow it down to 0 pretty much. You can go from like 114 to 0, and you'll get that kind of decrease in pitch that goes with tape the sound of how tape works. So hopefully that resolves that issue for you. I'm just going to delete all of that. There we go. All right, so I hope that that helps. It is a good question. Let's see. You could transform to audio first, then the tape stop effect can work on all of them. Yes, absolutely. If I transform everything to audio, then yes, tape will work on everything. Correct. Absolutely correct. Paraparator Music is here, which is awesome. Hello, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just Bob says, here is a great tape stop VST. Yes, there are VSTs that will do this as well, for sure. But yes, you can use the time stretch tape for simulating that effect as well. So yeah, I hope that that helps. That's a good question, though. Good questions coming in. And we're only 27 minutes into the show, so that's pretty cool. Right, what else you guys got for me? Hope you guys have got some more questions. Otherwise, this is going to be a very short show. Anybody got any other questions? Let's see. Awesome. Yes. Paraparator Music says, doing just great. Awesome. Glad to hear that. That's cool. Anybody else with any other questions? Otherwise, we will just wrap the show. And it'll be a short one tonight. I'd rather go for the full hour because I think the full hour works really well for everybody. But it is your show, essentially. I just answer your questions. That's what this show is all about. So let's see what we have. Get typing, folks. Otherwise, this is going to be a very short show. Mike is thinking. That's funny. Oh, I snorted. Yeah. Your questions are always answered here on Sunday Night Live. That's kind of what I do. Looks like Secret Squirrel might have one. Yep, I'm waiting for that. Let's see. Can you explain the difference between a melodic minor and harmonic minor scale? Sure. Yeah. They are different but similar scales. So, if I was to take that scale there, that is the harmonic minor scale. And C minor is the relative minor of E flat major. So it has 3 flats in the key signature, although you know it's C minor because you will see B naturals in the score. If you were looking at a score, you would see B naturals appear in the score. Because in the harmonic minor scale, the leading tone is always sharp. There's the leading tone, which is the last tone before you get to the tonic. Whereas in the melodic minor scale, it isn't. And in fact, the 6th degree of the scale is raised as well. So instead of going up here for the, which is what you would do in the harmonic minor scale, you go A natural, B flat, C. So it's that's where they're different. So In the melodic minor scale, the 7th degree of the scale is flat and the 6th degree of the scale is sharpened. In the harmonic minor scale, you just have just the leading tone. Okay? And it sounds kind of a little bit Middle Eastern, maybe, has that kind of hint to it, because you have that. So it has that kind of a sound to it, which is very, very cool. Let's see. Superscroll says, in 551 release update, what do they mean about playing multiple chords? Can't remember the specific verbiage as I can't seem to locate the release notes. The release notes are available inside of Studio One. If you go to, is it Help? Yep, Help, View Release Notes. This will bring up the latest release notes, which I've already downloaded. So if I open this here, chord strumming now works for multiple chords at once. You may remember in the previous version, in 5.5.0, we introduced this fantastic new feature, which is called chord strumming. And what that does is, let me start a brand new song to demonstrate this. So if I go and grab Presence, and if I go and grab, let's see, guitar, nylon strung, full. So I've got this guy here, and let's go, and what we'll do is we will cheat a little bit. We'll set this scale thing to on, and we'll set this to major triad. And then what we'll do is we'll grab the pencil tool, and I'm going to hold shift down, and I'm going to drag upward. I think it's shift. No, it's not shift, it's alt. I can't always remember exactly how this works. But if I hold shift and drag upwards, I get to create a whole bunch of different chords. So for some reason, these are not coming out as like individual. Oh, it's because I got this set up on minor. That's why. All right. So what I can now do is, let's play these chords so you hear what they sound like. So they don't sound necessarily particularly great, but if I now grab all of these, and if I just extend out the notes a bit, what I can do, and this is where I have to try and remember how the strumming works. I think it's with Control and Alt. No, it's not Control and Alt. Been a little while since I've done this. I can't remember how to do it. I can't remember how to do the strumming. Hang on just a second until I work it out. I am gonna get this. I can't remember how you do it. Let's just extend this out for an extra bar. I can't remember how you do the strumming to start with, which doesn't ever help. No, it's not Control and Alt. I can't remember how you do it. Is it Shift and Alt? No. Someone please in the chat remind me what the modifiers are for doing the strumming in the first place, because I can't remember. because all that's doing is just moving everything, which is not what I want to do. I can't remember how I do it. Control and Alt and then slide. I think that's right. But it's not doing anything. Control and Alt is not doing anything. Nope, that's just changing the velocities. Ah, there we go. That's how we do it. I remember now. Let me Control Z that. Alright, so this is what we've got. Make those a little bit louder. So, you have to point at the top note. Grab it. Hang on. And then hold Control and Alt and drag. And that creates the strum. Like that. Now, if you want to do it from the bottom instead of the top, you can do that as well. You just grab the bottom note and you drag. And that's how that works. And then you can draw in some, you know, you can draw in some velocities. To make it sound a little bit more human. So there you go. Yeah, I just had a brain fart. I couldn't remember how you did it, but now I do it. No, you're not pressing the note with your left mouse first. Yes, that's what I was missing out. If you control click, this changes the behavior to alternate control. Yep. There you go. That was it. That's what I was missing out. I didn't even know S1 does strumming. Yes, it does. It does. This was added in Studio One 5.5.0. And then in 5.5.1, the latest build, we extended it so you could do it with multiple chords at once, rather than having to do one and then move to the next one, then do the next one, then move to the next one, and then do that one. Now you can just select a whole bunch of chords and do it that way. So you can do it in one. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feature. All right, any other questions on this whilst I have this open? And I kind of like what we've ended up with, actually. It's pretty cool. All right, any other questions? Let's see. I'm going to go back up to the chat and see what we've got. Okay, Mike says something I'm curious about. I've heard several folks say that their mix sounds better if they transform MIDI to audio first before working on the mix. I don't know whether it sounds better or not, because essentially MIDI is just zeros and ones. It's data. It's not even sound until it gets converted to audio in the console. And then when you transform to audio, you're just turning that note data into audio. So I don't know whether there's a difference in sound that makes MIDI sound better than audio or not. But what I do, my standard thing that I do is, once I am happy with a MIDI track, an instrument track, is I transform it to audio anyway, because I'm happy with it. Unload the instrument, take the load off the CPU, and then I'm totally free then to use the CPU load for plugins and that kind of thing, rather than having to have virtual instruments running in the background as well as plugins for mixing. So yeah, I always print in inverted commas, I always print MIDI tracks as a standard practice that I do. And I do that at the earliest point. So as soon as I'm happy with a part, I print it and I leave it. So, and you know, that will happen during the production phase before I'm even getting to mixing, to be honest. So even if I've got a piece that's pretty much entirely virtual instruments, like maybe I've used the Presonus Symphonic Orchestra for the whole piece of music, I print everything as soon as I'm happy with it. And it just makes things easier on your computer, to be honest. Even if you've got a powerful machine and you don't need to do it. Doesn't matter. Just do it. You know, just do it. You know, so your computer doesn't have to sweat. I can't, let's see. John Hawk says, I can't get the idea of secondary dominant to stick. Can you give a brief explanation and demonstration? Yes, secondary dominant is basically, so in the key of C, so we're in the key of C here. I'm just going to move out a little bit so I've got a bit easier access to the piano. So in the key of C, a secondary dominant would be like D7, because I mean the F sharp doesn't belong in the key of C, and then this is just a regular dominant to 1. But E7 would also be a secondary dominant. It's also 5 in the key of A minor, so you could go. End up in the key of F major. So that kind of works, you know. C, E7 as the secondary dominant going is basically functioning as chord 5 in A minor, and then 2, 5, 1 in F, G minor, C7, F, F minor, B flat, E flat, D minor, G, and we're back in the key of C. So you're using kind of secondary dominants kind of all the time, but using them to function as a dominant going to a new key. But yeah, that's kind of how I use dominant chords, secondary or otherwise. But yeah, that's essentially the simplest explanation for dominant chords. I could go into an awful lot more detail. Hang on just a second. Yeah, I could go into an awful lot more detail on that, because it's dominance and secondary dominance is a big subject. So maybe we will cover that in a lot more detail on a Songwriting Simplified show on Wednesday. So I'll talk to Jonny Guy about that. But yeah, I think maybe we just make that the topic for the show on Wednesday. Because that is a good question, and I want to be able to do it justice and give you a good, solid explanation for it. So I hope that you are okay with that, and you're able to be here on Wednesday, and we will devote the show's topic. So, you know, the first sort of 25 minutes we'll dedicate to that, and I'll give you a proper in-depth explanation. So I hope that that's okay. Let's see. Ken Moss says, I discovered a very interesting scale, diminished sixth, and I'm using it to reharmonize one of my songs as a string quartet. Fantastic harmonies and a great, interesting counterpoint. Diminished sixth, that's an interesting scale. You're going to have to kind of outline some of how that particular scale works. I'd be interested in hearing that for sure. Secret School says, so it is to select multiple chords to edit, but play itself isn't affected. Well, as you could see here, the performance is affected because you select the chords and then you drag the notes so that they are cascading like this, instead of what we started out with. My mic must have got muted. Sorry about that. My mic got muted. I don't know how that happened. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. Carl says we need to type louder. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, somehow my mic got muted. I'm not sure how that happened. But we're good. We are good. Yeah, that's all sorted now. Let's see. Ken's got me some detail. 8-note scale, full major scale plus flat 6. Cool. Okay, so nice, I like that. Nice. 8-note scales are quite hard to play because I'm so used to doing the fingering for 7-note scales. Kind of sounds a little bit bluesy. Yeah, it kind of sounds a little bit bluesy, but there we go. That's pretty cool. I like that scale. So what was I saying? Yeah, I was talking about guitar notes and how they sustain. And the fact that, you know, these samples are not round robin, so they don't just like start again when whilst you're holding the key down and sustain indefinitely. It lasts as long as a real guitar would, I suppose. There you go. So, yeah, so I hope that that answers that question. Use your damp pedal to sustain the notes. Yeah, I could do if my pedal was actually connected to that other keyboard. It's not. It's not. But I can do. I can connect it. Hang on. Hang on just a minute. Okay, and then I just have to remember that I have done that, so yeah, bit of sustain pedal always helps. So there we go. Hope that answers that question as well. And Mike has put in his link to his after show party, which is cool. If you want to go and join Mike for that, hit that link as soon as we roll the credits at the end of the show. And that would be cool. The after show parties are usually pretty fun. Lots of banter and entertainment. So yeah, go and do that. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I should be able to take maybe one, maybe two more questions after this. But yeah, sorry about the mic getting muted. I don't know what happened there. That was most strange. Very weird. I don't know. I think maybe one of my Studio One shortcuts might have triggered muting the mic in OBS. I've had something similar happen before. I'll have to look into it. Where I was pressing something to do something in Studio One, and at the same time it was also changing my scene. So, Ronald says, just Bob, that has to be used judiciously. It's a good word. Or it will sound like a piano. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you can certainly use the sustain pedal. But I think, to be honest, I prefer playing without the sustain pedal because to me, it sounds a little bit more natural. Now, it does mean you have to move your fingers quite quickly. I think that sounds pretty nice. Just Bob says he'll play around with it, want to make a natural strumming sound. Yeah, strumming, kind of actually performing strumming is actually really hard, if not quite impossible. Yeah, that doesn't really sound like a strummed guitar to me, which is why we introduced the strumming feature in Studio One, which definitely sounds much more like a strummed guitar than anything I could play with. So I hope that helps. Yeah, play around with it and kind of see what best combination works for you. It might well be a combination of using the sustain pedal and using the strumming feature in Studio One will help you get the results you want. For sure. All right, I think we will end there. We will wrap up there. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for your fantastic questions. There were some real crackers there. And as I said, on Wednesday for Songwriting Simplified, we will do a whole section devoted to secondary dominant chords and how they can be very, very effective, very useful and helpful for your songwriting. And I'll go into a lot more detail than I have here in tonight's show. All right, so if you're up for that, make sure, and if that's a particular thing that you're interested in, then make sure that you are here at on Jonny Gibe's channel, the Home Studio Trainer YouTube channel. If you go over there on Wednesday, the same kind of time, so 6 p.m. Central Time, then Jonny and I will cover that in a bit more detail. All right, take care, everybody, and I will see you on Wednesday for Songwriting Simplified with Jonny Gibe. Cheers, folks. Good night.